Welcome to this video on how to find decimal and fraction values on a number line. In this video, we are going to try to communicate the method for doing this through 5 examples. In this first example, we've got a number line that starts with a 0 and it ends with a 3, or at least that's the part we can see. It's divided into a number of increments, and we're being asked what the value of point B is, both as a fraction and as a decimal. So the first thing that I'm focused on is what are those whole numbers that are surrounding our value? We have a 1 before it, we have a 2 after it. The 1 is more important because our answer is going to be 1 and something, because B is not quite all the way to 2. So let's go through the steps here. Let's count the increments between the whole numbers. What I mean by increments is these gaps between these tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 is the number that we want. That's why it's bold, because we want to know the total number of increments there. We are dividing up into 1/4. That's the meaning of the 4 there. Now let's take a look at where our B is positioned relative to the 1. How many increments past the 1 is it? 1, 2, 3. So from this, we know that we are 3 increments out of a total of 4 between 1 and 2, 3/4 of the way. So let's put together that information that we've gathered. We're going to put the whole number and the fraction together, and then reduce that fraction if possible. 1 3/4. 3/4 can't be reduced, so that's kind of our final answer as a fraction. But then if we are asked for a decimal, we need to convert that fraction part and add it to the whole number. We convert the fraction part by dividing. 3 divided by 4. 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. We add that to 1, and we get our answer of 1.75 as a decimal. Let's take a look at example 2. Similar number line here, except we can see our increments are different. We have more increments between each number. We're focused on the 4 and the 5 because our answer will be between 4 and 5. And now let's count those increments again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't want to be wrong about that. So we are counting in eighths this time. Each increment is 1/8. How many increments to the point that we're interested in from the number 4? 1, 2. That's easy to see. So we are 2/8 of the way from 4 to 5. So we can add 2/8 to the number 4. Let's put it together. 4 2/8. We have to try to reduce 2/8, and we can. And indeed, that becomes 4 1/4, because 2/8 reduces to 1/4. Now let's convert that into a decimal. We look at this fraction part. We divide that. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. We add that to the number 4, and our answer is 4.25. Let's look at example 3. What is the value of point A, both as a fraction and as a decimal? We can see that it looks like we have even more increments here. We're focused on the number 3 and 4. Our answer will be between 3 and 4. And we count the increments. And we have 10. There are 10 increments between 3 and 4, so we're counting in 1/10 this time. So we come up to our 3, and we start counting to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/10 is going to be our fraction. We have gone 4 out of 10 increments to get to A. We're going to add that to the whole number of 3. And we get 3 4/10. 4/10 can be reduced to 2/5. So we do that, and our answer is 3 2/5. Let's convert it to a decimal. We're going to just divide 2 by 5. 2 by 5 is 0.4. So we add 0.4 to the number 3, and our answer becomes 3.4. We knew that it was going to be 3 and something, 3 and 2/5, 3 and 4/10. So it makes a lot of sense. Let's look at example 4. This one's a little different. We can see that we have additional information on our number line about these points in between 5 and 6. We can see that they're telling us this is 5 and 2/6. This is 5 and 4/6, and we're being asked about the point in between it. How can we figure that point out? Well, here's one method. There's not just one method, but since we seem to know that we're counting in 6, then we can confirm that by counting the increments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like we did before. That confirms that, yeah, we're counting in 6. Let's start counting from the 5 and 0, 6. When you're right at the number, it's 0, 6. 5 and 1, 6. 5 and 2, 6. That one was already labeled. 5 and 3, 6. That's the one we're interested in. We can keep going. 5 and 4, 6. 5 and 5, 6. 6 and 0, 6. But we're interested in the one that's highlighted in red. That's going to be our answer. We put the whole number and the fraction together. 5 and 3/6 is equal to 5 and 1/2 when we reduce 3/6. Always want to try to reduce that fraction to get that in the lowest form. If we're asked for a decimal, convert that fraction part to a decimal. 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So we add that to, not to 1, we add that to 5, and we get 5.5. Little typo in the slide there. Forgive me for that. And our last example. What is the difference between point B and A expressed as a mixed number? So what we're really trying to do here is to find this distance between A and B. Now, we could figure out the value at A and the value at B, and then we could subtract. That will work using the methods that we just used, or we can do it the way that I'm about to show you, which is to count the increments between the whole numbers first. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are counting in 1/4. So we're counting between the 1 and the 2 just because that will always tell us what increments that we're using in our number line. Our number line is in 1/4. Now we count the increments between the two numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That tells us the total number of increments. Frequently, in this kind of a problem, you will get an improper fraction, and that's the case here. We have 6/4. 6 increments of 1/4 is 6/4, and now we want to convert that to a mixed number because that's what the problem asked for. What is our answer as a mixed number? We first reduce it. 6/4 is 3/2. 3/2 is 1 and 1/2 as a mixed number. And that's our answer to that problem. So that wraps up this video on decimals and fractions on the number lines. I hope that helps. And now it's time for some practice on your own.